The last time that I saw this thigh-strokingly talented man was in a Victorian greenhouse, backstage at Glasgow Green at Transmit Festival. Lewis Capaldi. What an absolute joy that I'm seeing you now. Because when I last saw you, and you blew me away with the first acoustic session that you did for Virgin Radio.
And thanks for the support. That's all.
Oh, mate, you're so welcome. It's all from the heart with me. But, you were at that point, you were so near, but yet so far.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And now, I mean, F me, you're famous.
It's weird, yeah. And that's interesting that I saw you near so far, because it was like, that was a point where, like, we'd been releasing music for a little bit now at that point, and like it was like maybe a year and a half in, and it was like how do we make that next step? Like I kind of felt like, okay, this has reached the size it was ever going to reach, which was amazing. Like main stage at Transmit, and we had like a tour on sale at the end of the year. Like we're doing 2 Barrowlands, Shepherd's Bush, and stuff like that. So I was like, this is great. But yeah, it is weird to kind of see how we kind of the next couple of months kind of transpired to be like so important, and really, yeah, here we are. It's mad.
Yeah, my God, your life must have. Really changed.
It's been strange, man. It's more that I now get to sleep in a nicer hotel, and that people ask me for pictures sometimes. And that's all right.
So are you getting recognised in Sainsbury's?
Yeah, that's it. No, it's just I totally think, and I don't. I'll never say no to taking a picture. The weird one is when people film you while you're eating. It's always when you're eating as well. It's never like me doing anything else. They'll just be sitting there, and you'll look up and you'll be like, and you'll look at the camera and they'll just film it. And I just try and keep as much eye contact as I can with them, but it's just people don't care. Which I kind of admire that. Like, I'm like, see if I look at the camera, dead in the camera, and you're like still doing it. I'm like, you deserve it. You deserve the video. You're bold.
That's hilarious.
A little bit.
So I hear that your album is it just out? Is it coming out? Is it coming out tomorrow?
Came out last Friday.
It came out last Friday, yeah. And you were worrying Ariana Grande, or what?
So we have now, as of today, as of yesterday, taken over Ariana Grande. Yeah. So it's I think it's became the fastest selling album of 2019.
Amazing.
Which is mad, which is cool, which is something that you never think about that when you're putting it out. You just go, I hope people don't think this is terrible. That was my only concern. So that stuff nice, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Mate,
some people might still think it's terrible, which is all good. But yeah, it's so weird, man. So weird.
I'm so happy for you, man. Honestly, and everyone at Virgin, we've all been rooting for you.
Absolutely, man. And honestly, like the support you guys have shown from early doors has just been incredible, and honestly, like, thank you so much for everything. It's been
well. It's wonderful when success happens to nice people, and that's clearly what's happened here. So let's get into this. We've only got a limited amount of time with you because obviously you are one of the most busy men in showbiz at the moment. So what a mystifying title for a start. It's Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent. Just talk us through that initially.
So yeah, I just wanted an album title that was going to completely deter people from wanting to buy the record. No, it was just it was like, I just wanted something. You see so many albums come out every year and stuff, and for me the ones that grab me are the ones with weird titles. Like the one that's grabbed me the most over the last couple of years was the 1975 when they came out with that I Like It When You Sleep For You're So Beautiful Yet So Unaware Of It.
Yes.
I remember a lot of people at the time being like, that's so pretentious, but I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was lovely.
That's so funny, that's so, like, because no one else is doing it. And I kind of think that they must think that's funny as well, but also it's very nice. It's a very nice title.
Yeah.
But and I didn't want to call it Lewis Capaldi and anything like that, so I thought, what can we do here? And Frightened Rabbit, they've always done like song, like their album titles are always like lyrics from a song.
Yeah.
And there's actually my keyboard player that suggested it. And initially, this album was meant to open with a song called Figure It Out, which I still love, but the opening line of that song is broken by desire to be heavenly sent, divinely uninspired to a hellish extent. And that song was all about just the pursuit of being good at something, or the pursuit of just doing something well, and how that 90% of the time during that pursuit you feel like you're terrible at whatever it is you want to be good at. So like, I think for me songwriting is sitting at a piano for 4 hours and banging your head against it for 3 hours and 45 minutes just for the little 50-minute spot at the end where you get like one line, but that one line's like, you're like, oh mate, I'm so glad I sat for that long time. So I think for me it was that, like, a lot of time making this album as well, and there was times where I did feel a bit like deflated by the process and stuff like that, and I think I didn't want to have a title that was like, I wanted people to know that this was a slog. Making this album, it was very stressful, very boring, but I'm very proud of what I did and what we came out at the end of it, because I think the beauty of that being divinely uninspired to a hellish extent is breaking through that and getting to a destination you want to be. Also, it was just interesting to see the label's reaction when I told them it was so negative. But they seem to have done a good job, so I think they're good.
And so why was the making of the album so stressful for you?
Because I think it's just, it's such a pressure, in fact, it's such like a pressurised thing. It's just like, there's so much, you're kind of, I was floating about for a very long time, writing the odd song here and there, and I kind of had enough songs, and then when it came time to do the album, it was like, I think, to be honest, we only had the meeting about we need to finish this album in like November last year.
Yeah.
So the album was like nowhere near finished in November last year. And then it was like, had to be delivered by like January something. Like, and it was just such a...
Okay, so you had a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so it was just like, let's do this out, because then things started to, thankfully, kind of gradually go on this kind of little upward turn. And it was like, oh, okay, this thing, and thank God the label, because even at that time I was like, I'm not sure I'm ready to kind of do it and stuff like that. And even at that time, thank God the label kind of sat me down and just went, we don't want you to lose this moment that you've got, because we think, they've been amazing from the start and really believed in everything that I've done, and gave me a lot of, basically gave me, me and my manager A&R'd this album.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we did everything on it because, and we were given the opportunity to do that. We did go through 6 A&Rs, but that's a different thing altogether. But by the end of it was just like a very free process of just, right, you guys do what you want. They let me talk about what I want, do what I want, but they says, we think here is where we step in and go, this is the time to make this album and this is the time to kind of finish it. And initially I was like, oh, I don't know, but I'm so glad they did, because obviously now it came at kind of the perfect time, and they forecasted that. But it was, that little space of time of that November to January was just full on, so stressful, that kind of whole section. So, but it was good, and I'm kind of glad that I did it that way, because I hate being in the studio, because I'm not a perfectionist by any means whatsoever. Which, if you listen to the album, you could probably tell. No, it's that kind of feeling of, I want to be on stage playing live. That's the whole thing I want to do, all I've ever wanted to do. And I think the fact that we were in the studio for that long, I would rather be in for like that 3-month period and be stressed and like be like, okay, let's go, and have to make decisions like on your gut, than have that kind of long time to stew in a studio and really be like, is this song even good anymore? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad it was in that little spot, and again, so glad that the label were like, it's time to do the album now. Like, I think it's time. Do you know what I mean? So
great. Well, you reminded me that as a kind of special treat, we are playing to your strength here in this album special in a quite a unique way, and because you've done a session for us live, we're going to put some of the live tracks. Into this, which is great, and we're gonna let's get into it. But actually, first, I just wanted to focus on this cover. What a beautiful cover!
Thank you very much.
It's so simple and so beautiful, and we'll push past the fact that you look almost exactly the same as Jack White.
Yeah, it looks good though. A good guy to look like. A good guy to look like. Handsome man.
What a hero!
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
What a hero!
You know.
All right. Well, let's get stuck into to track one, and Grace is a song that we all know, and that was your. Was it your second single?
It was it would have been, it came just after Tough. So I think, I don't know, in terms, it's weird because the way we release songs now, obviously it's like, we're putting songs out and we weren't saying single.
Right, okay, yeah.
But I think it was the first one we proper went, okay, we're going to let's put a proper video behind this and push. So I think that was probably the first one.
In my mind, Tough was the first one that came to me was Tough. And then so then Grace. What a lovely bridge on this.
Well, yeah, nice one. Thank you so much.
This track. So talk us through the track.
Yeah, so basically, I wrote it last year, and it was like I was writing a lot of songs about. Well, I mean, you've heard the album. I was writing a lot of songs about heartbreak and breaking up with someone. So it was like, I just came out of the session, I was like, let's just write a song about falling in love with someone and just loving them and not being ready to lose them, and like just being that initial feeling. And so the album definitely gets off to like a confusing start, because everyone's like, oh, this is great, this is going to be an album that's upbeat and about love, and then you get to the song 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7 and you're like, oh God. So I like to I bring people into a false sense of security here.
You don't even have to wait for 3, 4, it's like 2 is Bruises, which sounds really like you've been very unlucky in love.
Yeah, do it. It's definitely a very like, everything's great. No, it's not. It's like, do you know what I mean? So that song was just, I wanted something upbeat and ready to go, and I really like how it opens the album in terms of just, there's a piano chord and my voice comes in, and that's like, for me, is what I wanted to lead the album in. I didn't want there to be like an instrumental into the album, or like a cool, I mean, intros on albums can be amazing. Like the XX's intro is like iconic. But for me, I just wanted like a straight in, boom, here we go, and you're off sort of thing. And
You're setting your stall out, isn't it?
totally, yeah, just being like, here it is. I think you should know in the first line if you're going to like this album or not.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's got the kind of root piano and vocal and kind of melodic thing that sets up for the rest of the album. Do you know what I mean? And and yeah, I just wanted the song. Plus, we open the shows with it, and it's like it just always gets off to a good start.
Yeah, and then similarly, you're flowing straight into Bruisers, which is just you and a piano.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
It's so stripped down. There's nowhere to hide, is there?
100%, and I think that was, see, for this whole album, I was kind of like that we kind of wanted to do that and have it be. There's always going to be room to build on things. Do you know what I mean? And there is some songs in here that are a bit more built up, but like for the most part, it is even the more up tempo and full ones are still kind of like pulled back a bit. I think for this album, I did want to just have right. Here's the first one. The songs, as minimal instrumentation as possible, and the voice, and hopefully that you should know. Like I wanted people to get the very rawest version of it before they kind of. I didn't want there to be anything getting in the way of things. Do you know what I mean? I wanted them to just hear those two things, the voice and the song, and just be like, okay, this is how I'm going to make my mind up. And yeah, with Bruises, that was like, when I wrote that song, that was March 2017 it came out, but I wrote that on my 20th birthday with a guy called James Earp, and it was like, the only reason it was so stripped back was because we didn't have enough time to add any more instruments to it. And it was like, so we did it, and it was like, it was something that was the first song I ever wrote on piano with James, and had that there. It was just like that kind of. I was writing a lot of songs that were very full guitar heavy stuff, and that's again stuff that I might release at some point. Mm-hmm. But there was just something about playing with the piano. Bruises really took things off on a tangent and started the kind of songwriting process for what would be this album. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It became that became the kind of cornerstone of the album to build around. If that makes sense.
And of course, lyrically, you're setting out your stall as in, my love life is an absolute disaster area.
Yeah, totally. And exactly. And it was one of those things as well. Like James was like one of the first guys. I'm 20 years old at this point, or 19 turning 20, and James was like being in a room with someone else who just went, "So what's going on in your life at the minute?" And I remember at the time being like, "Whoa, that's a weird thing to." Do you know what I mean? Like, because you don't really, as a 19-year-old guy, I wasn't getting that. I wasn't having that many conversations about my love life or loss of love life and it was like, I just remember being like, oh, that's a bit weird. And it took like kind of writing with someone else to pull out the kind of actual factual like songs in me. So because a lot of time I was kind of maybe making things up on songs. They would get maybe one or two that would be actually about me, and then, but for the most part I was just drawing on like random things, and then it was weird that it took writing with someone else for them to go, what's going on in your life, and me going, oh, okay, and then that kind of drew things out, and yeah, again, even lyrically, that really just lyrically and sonically and stuff really just opened up my kind of mind to like being like, oh, I can try and write songs like this rather than I don't have to do everything on guitar. Do you know what I mean? I still can't. That's why the piano's so sparse, is because I couldn't do anything else. Yeah. So it's like, it's very bit.
And don't you think that break-up songs are always more interesting than make-up songs?
Totally, yeah, absolutely. Because I think the thing about being, when you're sad, you think about it more. You have that, you sit and you stew, but when you're happy, you think about, I don't know, skipping and spaghetti.
Skipping and spaghetti, which is definitely not as interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel as though, I mean, it's seriously that my favourite art, from 1500 on, was always by artists who came from a bad place.
Totally, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think there's so much, people must find out a lot about themselves when they go into those like kind of like sadder moments of their life, or the kind of troughs of their life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They kind of, that's when you really realise what you're made of, I suppose. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, let's crack on. So we're on to track 3 now, and Hold Me While You Wait, which is your current single.
Yeah.
And what a chorus! You really belt this one out. When I first heard it, I just thought, God, I feel for that poor boy on tour.
Oh yeah, totally.
Your throat.
Oh yeah, man.
How do you manage your throat doing that night after night? Because it's not the only one. You belt out a lot of your songs.
Totally. That was the thing with making this album as well. Like, because I was used to, for so long, since I was 11 till again 20, writing songs and then immediately playing them live. There was a big difference, and I was always like, okay, I knew my capabilities. A lot of time writing this album, I was writing songs that were that I could hit the notes in the studio because I was breaking it up. But then it came to rehearsals and I'd be like, whoa, what's good? I'm never going to be able to do this. And it just takes that time of just constantly bashing it out and working through what is essentially pain, and then eventually your voice kind of, it knows the song. It's kind of almost like muscle memory, and it kind of just gets in that thingy. But yeah, it was tough. But yeah, Home Away was just a song that took so long to get right, like so long.
Oh, and really? Was it a headache, this one?
Honestly, it was like, because I think the idea was the temptation is just to go as massive as you could with it. Do you know what I mean? But again, I think my thought was that I wanted the song, the vocal and the stuff to do that. Do you know what I mean? And what people around me were always good at was, like, manager and label was like, here are the key elements of the song: the guitar, the piano, your voice. You don't need. There was so many drums on it and stuff at points, and there was like, it was very electronic at a point and stuff, and it just went through so many different producers, great producers, but it just wasn't. It never stuck, and it was never right. I actually kind of really was against putting the song out for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because I'd just been soured on it by the thing. Even the original demo never really filled me with much. Oh my God! Like, do you know what I mean? Oh, it was just that "Stay a While" at the end that I really liked.
Yeah.
And then, I just remember over time, it was like, there's people around me who I trust, but like, trust me, this is a song that you should work on. So I kept doing it and kept doing it, and eventually we managed to get somewhere in the end. It was Nick Atkinson and Ed Holloway did the initial production on it, and then these amazing guys called TMS did some and more production on it, and then it was mixed by Spike Stent, who's obviously mixed some of the
Spike. Wow, yeah, he's an absolute
incredible.
legend.
Yeah, so they just that combination of them really honed it in. And it was a case of like that. What's that thing that Rick Rubin says? Like, it was like deproduced or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was like
less is more.
Yeah, and it was like that kind of thing. It was just we need that many people just kind of strip it out, and it took a lot of work to kind of find those key elements. And but I think I'm glad with what we got, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. It reminds me that it takes kind of maturity, and that's why Rick Rubin knows.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a really mature production head to know what to take out more than what to put in.
Totally.
It's almost all about the gaps that you leave, you know, rather than, you know, putting all the kitchen sink in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now we come to track 4. This is the big one. This is, you know, Tom Walker had Leave a Light On and Snow Patrol had Run.
Yeah.
This is your one that changed the game for you.
Yeah, it was mad. It was so crazy, man. And this is the thing that's so weird. This song was like almost very nearly not on the album, which is always the way, I suppose. But like, it was a case of I had finished writing the album. I had all these melodies. I had the melody for the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus done, ready to go. And I was like, sitting I've got a shed in my back garden in my mum's house. I was sitting on a piano and just bashing it out, and I was like, it took me so long to get melodies, even though it's a very simple song. And I just remember thinking, when I finished it, I don't have anything to write about. I kind of felt like spent, if you will. I was just like, there's nothing I can bring to this song that I haven't got on all the 11 songs that are on that album. So it's done. So then we did like one more session just with, again, friends of mine, TMS, who we were in with, and a guy called Roman as well. And I says, like, I've got this idea. We're working on this other idea. It was a lot more pop than I would usually go and stuff. And then, like, it had a lot of guitars and stuff potentially for like somewhere down the road maybe. And I just remember saying, I've got this one idea that I'd like to try, because TMS guys always usually throw up. We've got half this song here. Let's maybe take another 5 and just see if anything else comes up. And I says, look, I've got this idea. And I played them it, and they were like, we need to finish this, let's do this. And it was just a case of like, I was going, I don't really want to write about a relationship again, I can't do it. And they were like, well, you don't have to. And it's literally something as simple as that, just being like, oh no, I don't have to. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be about being with someone or missing someone that you were in a relationship with. And it kind of occurred to me that it could be about someone that I miss because, you know, for want of a better word, dead.
Yeah.
I think, so yeah, it was just that, and it was like someone I hadn't explored before, and I was able to kind of keep it quite broad as well. And it's just, and then when we finished it, and we had this EP coming out, Breach, which it's actually on, that Grace was the lead track from, Tough was on it as well, and this a demo called Something Borrowed. And me and my manager had to be like, we need this song on the EP, and everyone was like, I mean, there's really no time to do this. This is like a really bad, and we like kept pushing, and eventually we got on, and thank God, because it was just like, it really, like Grace was nicely teeing things up, and this just like it just did exceeded any and all expectations that it could have. I just thought it was a song I really loved, and I thought that people who liked my music already would really enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a focus track on the EP or whatever. It was just something we had on there, and it just kind of, it just took on a life of its own, which is, and it's amazing. That's why that's one of the best things I think about streaming and all this stuff at the minute, because that feeling of the audience can choose the single sort of thing. Like, it's in their hands a little bit. If a song starts moving on streaming or whatever, you can go, oh, this is like amazing. This is like we're watching this. People react to this, despite the fact that we thought that wasn't that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so incredible. And it's good. It's amazing to watch with the album as well. But it just really, really, really just took a life of its own. Yeah.
What do you think it was about that track that connected with so many people?
I don't know. If I knew that, I would have written 11 more. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough. But I'm so glad it has, man. I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Well, like I said, so are we. So on we go to track 5, and maybe. Now you seem to be identifying here that you are your own worst enemy.
A little bit, yeah. So totally, like, this is a song that kind of, I think those first 4 songs, maybe with the exception of It's Something You Loved, tee up the fact that maybe I've been in a bit unlucky in love and stuff, and then maybe it's me going, oh, and it's because I am horrible. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, totally. That's the kind of thing here, and it's like, it was fun, that one. And again, that was something that was one that changed so much. That started off as this really slow piano-led ballad again, and it was like, let's just do something that's a bit, like, I don't know, it's very like drum-led, and there's the wee acoustic guitar part as well, and like that was one that really came to life while we were recording it. So like when it was a demo, my manager hated it, like absolutely despised it, and he was like, look, you can put it on and it's fine, but because and to be fair, listen back to the original demo now, I'm like, oh my god, I nearly put that in the album. But it's like that thing of, excuse me, it's belched. That thing of, so it was one of those things, and the day, like over 3 days in the studio, that it was like, it really came to life and really came into its own. And I think that was like probably the most fun one to see come together as we were recording. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these were already like arranged and had these things, but it was kind of fun to be in that environment, have that deadline, but still be like, let's just chuck everything at this and see what happens. And again, that was one that took a lot of bringing down after we'd kind of threw everything at it. But I just kind of like playing that live is always a nice one as well, because it's just like it's got this kind of amazing vibe about it. Do you know what I mean?
And it's another throat killer for you.
Oh, yep, absolutely. I mean, yep. I wouldn't want to make it easy for myself.
I've got a tip for you from Brian Molko from Placebo. He uses this stuff. I don't know if you've come across it. It's called throat coat tea.
Throat coat,
Have you come across it? You can only get it in America. It's got this thing in it called slippery elm bark, which is a real thing. And I had a sip of it, and it literally just made my throat really just feel slippery. It was absolutely amazing. It's one of the most magical things.
And you get some sent over, some contraband.
Yeah,
get in touch with them.
Yeah, I'm sure your people. Yeah, get your people on it. So on we go to track 6 and Forever. So this is a crescendo track.
Doing my best Keen impression here.
Okay. Was it a foreign setting? I remember thinking a bit like a James Bond film. We're going somewhere foreign here. Was it Hanover?
Hanover. Well, but that's the thing. So Hanover 99 has a reference to, there's a club in Edinburgh called 99 Hanover Street. So this song Forever was about, I wrote this in LA, and I'm very proud of this song because I got a reference to Buckfast tonic wine.
Yes, you got Buckfast in there.
I got Buckfast in it. Yeah, I had too much tonic wine. Sometimes it does the talking. And it's so weird that I managed to squeeze it into a song that I wrote in LA. Do you know what I mean? It was very, very surreal, but I'm very glad I did it.
You're obviously homesick.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I was just thirsty. But we got that, and it was like, that song's about this fictional, like, it's kind of like me meeting up with, me imagining seeing my ex-girlfriend, who it's been split up with for like a year, maybe 2 years at that point. And I was like, and just seeing her and being like, what would I say to her right now if I saw her? Like, so I'm kind of over it and stuff like that. But at the same time, even when you're over things and you see your ex-girlfriend, sometimes you're a bit like, oh God, like, and like that. I wish I'd dressed up a little better. Like, do you know what I mean? That kind of way, like, oh, I look rubbish, I look scruffy as anything, and she looks great. But it was just that feeling of what would I say to her. So 99 Hanover Street is that, as a bar. that she really used to always go to.
Yeah.
In Edinburgh, and I've only been a handful of times. Never went together, so just like old times, I've made that up. But she, yeah, so it was just a nice kind of setting for that kind of fictional meeting. And yeah, it is that we did have to dial it back a bit because it was very somewhere only we know for a very long time.
Yeah.
It immediately started with
yeah,
kill it.
yeah.
Totally.
Plonky.
But not a bad place to aim for, but don't want to get sued.
Yes.
Exactly.
And actually, it's very restrained. I mean, the whole album, you could have gone really epic with it, couldn't
totally.
you? Very
Yeah,
easily, but it seems very mature for someone so young.
Yeah, totally, man. I think that's the thing as well. I didn't want to get, as I say, like, I just want to keep those core propositions, like the voice and the song, as a thing. And like, this, I'm not saying like, at no point am I saying I hope by saying that I'm not coming across as saying I've got a great voice and I've got great songs. I just mean like this is what I sound like, and these are the songs I write. And if you like it, great. If you don't, at least you know. Do you know what I mean? Because we've kept it so stripped back. So yeah, and this one's was a bit cool because we got to do like there's a bit more kind of like there's like this electronic-y vocal choppy bit underneath it and stuff. So yeah, it was good fun making this one, and like the idea, the decision to kind of pull everything out at the end and just have the single notes, because again that it goes this big forever and it feels like it's going to go off, and then we just bring it right back down again.
Yeah, it's restrained, isn't it? It's very restrained.
I quite like doing it.
So cracking on, and track 7 we're at now, and The One.
Yeah.
Is this something that you believe in? The One? In a romantic notion, in a romantic context?
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I believe in the sex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the dopamine.
There's probably what do you think I said? Sex there. I said sex. The number 6. Yeah, but that too. I believe in both of things. Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. I can't remember who said this, but I heard a really interesting thing that Buddhists, who've got a theory on everything, believe that when you know how you think you're meeting the one and it's actually just dopamine, your palms get sweaty and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like you said, when you're sort of seeing your ex again. Yeah. That sort of feeling when you meet someone. The Buddhists apparently, when they say that when you meet the one, that actually is the one, you are completely calm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
and that kind of makes sense in a way.
I kind of you feel comfortable in that. It's like you're relaxed. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't know. I'm 22. Do you know what I mean? I definitely haven't given much thought. But that's the thing. That's probably why the relationship ended, because I was like, I mean, I'm definitely not thinking about and if I get a relationship tomorrow, I'm not thinking about marrying them. I think if someone if she was to ask me, I'd say probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like,
let's be honest here. Yeah.
Speaking, do you know what I mean? It's like, but for this song, it was like, I thought it'd be nice to be on the other side of it this time and be the person who's in the relationship with the girl and kind of being like, oh, thanks so much to your ex-boyfriend, because if it wasn't for him being such a screw up and messing this up with you, I wouldn't be here with you. So it's kind of like it was a poem that one of the guys I wrote it with, Paul Cook, Paul Cook, Jesus, that's bad.
Paul Cook is Sex Pistols, let's not get that.
Yeah, very different. Did not write it with Paul Cook and the Sex Pistols. Yeah, it would have been a very different song. So he brought in this poem and it was like, it was kind of like that vibe. And then there was that Bruno Mars song, When I Was Your Man, where he goes, I should have bought you flowers, I should have held your hand, and I hope this new guy does all the things I should have done when I was your man. And it was kind of nice to be on the other end of that and be like, oh, I'm so glad he messed that up, man.
Oh, so you're writing from the point of view of the ex-boyfriend?
No, I'm writing from the point of view of the new boyfriend.
Oh, right.
I'm thanking the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, okay, of course,
for being such a mess up and not realising what he had. And I think it was quite a nice thing to be like, thank God you messed it up, mate, because now I've got this amazing girl in my life. Do you know what I mean? So it was nice to be. It was nice to not be the moping lover on this one.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't have that for every single one.
No, totally, it would be nice breakup. But then we're straight back in.
Of course, back to your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, not a Pretenders cover.
Not a Pretenders cover, no, not at all. But this one, again, is a bit. This one's like in 6/8, so this one's a bit different and stuff like that. And that's my.
Oh, in 6/8. Yeah.
But we thought about changing it up and kept it. It started off as a piano ballad, and I realised this isn't as good as Someone You Loved or Bruises or Lost on You, the piano ballads that are on the album, the straight up ones. So I don't want to keep it that way. So I took it again in recording and stuff like that. It was fun to kind of mess around and really just kind of work it out and think. There's this girl called Donna Missile. She's got a song called Keep Lying. It's like that kind of. It's a bit it's got a bit more bite. Don't get me wrong. It's got a lot more bite. Don't get me wrong. It's incredible. I would definitely, 100% you need to listen to it. But
Yeah, what was that again?
Donna Missile, Keep Lying.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Best voice I've heard in years. Incredible. But so she has like this kind of vibe. I love that. And then there's that Rihanna song, Love on the Brain, that I was kind of like, that's cool. I like what she's done there and stuff. And then obviously there's like Palanatini songs that have this kind of similar vibe to them. And I was like,
what, the time signature?
Yeah,
that 6/8
that
sort of like
yeah. So, and it was kind of like that kind of it was that vibe of just I wanted to have that, and yeah, so we kind of have that sort of that vibe. But it's just again, it's a nice point in the set of like just to have that. It's just a bit different to the usual stuff. So the thing with that as well is like it was like that's a song just about me saying to someone. Well, this time I'm just saying to somebody, you must realise that this is terrible. What's happened? This relationship that we're in at the minute, like that kind of feeling of, which is one that is very contrast to the rest of the songs. It's like you must know that this is like. I can't be the only one who thinks this is.
Can't just be me.
Yeah, I can't be the only one of the two of us that thinks this is a terrible relationship with it, and that we should end it. Do you know what I mean? And I'd love to. Like that's what I'm saying. I'd love to stay for as long as possible, and I'd love to stay until we hate each other and all that stuff. But I think it's probably best just now.
Yeah.
If we break up. And we don't, want to kill one another by the end of it. Do you know what I mean? But I think, and I think sometimes you're in positions like that. But sometimes you come round and you go, oh, actually, it's good we got back on track. But at this point, I definitely felt like you must know that this is like you must know I dislike you on a molecular level here.
What a funny way of putting it. Okay, so we should get on. So let's go to. You mentioned that you were in LA, so Hollywood. Bit of a banger. This
you.
one for you. Look, you've got a flat beat, not the first track that you've got a flat beat on, but you put a flat beat to it. And incidentally, how are you doing in the USA?
It's so Someone You Loved right now is just kind of really starting to take off and stuff. So I mean, it's obviously very early days over there, and you need to go over there and do stuff. But we're doing a headline tour in like a week. So we're doing like 2 weeks over there. Really nice venues. Like we're playing like Fonda Theatre in LA, Irving Plaza in New York and stuff. And then we go back in September and do bigger shows. So I've been really surprised at how much they've taken to us over there. Considering when I speak, I don't imagine they can understand much of what I'm saying. But they've been good. And so it's been a good start. But that particular song was like very. I was in it. Well, I was in Hollywood and I was kind of like doing a lot of writing and stuff. And I was like, I think I was out there for 3 weeks. It was the first time I'd been somewhere like that by myself, traveling around myself, like in such a faraway place. I'd never been on a long haul flight before. The music started taking off. So this was like the first time I'd really been out my comfort zone. And it was like, I was kind of just thinking back to like, this is all amazing, this is brilliant, and I'm having the best time ever. But I just couldn't stop thinking about my hometown and just being in the thing. And it's not even like the song I'm kind of singing to. It sounds like I'm kind of singing to a girl, but I'm kind of more talking about like where I'm from. And I just feel like sometimes I feel like I could go back to like being in school and just everything's very simple, because it was very very stressful. Like, this is mad. Like, just seeing everything in LA being like, this is so mental that I'm here. Do you know what I mean? So and this is my favourite song on the album.
I love this one too.
Yeah.
When it got going, it almost had a gospel
vibe
vibe to it. I sort of imagined.
Yeah, thank you.
Masses of backing singers.
Oh, I
imagine you in next year doing the Royal Albert Hall or something.
Totally,
you could get a whole sort of raft
Totally.
of people singing along with that
Mate,
one.
that'd be class. That'd be brilliant.
And I just thought, God, the Yanks are going to like that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, and genuine. I just love the pace of it, and I love everything. And again, that was one that I don't mind saying this because he really hated it. My manager hated.
What's up with you?
Hated it. If you're watching.
He is watching.
Sort it out. No, but it's kind of, it's good to have someone that's always like, as well, just make you second guess yourself a bit. But with that, and sometimes it makes you second guess yourself and you go, yeah, that is a terrible song. But that's when I was like, no, I'm sticking with this. And I just love this one, and playing it live is always like a nice thing, because everyone's used to like the slower stuff, and then we do this one that's well fast, and everyone's like, oh, cool, this is great. But yeah, man, it's a fun way of playing it. I love it.
And when you're playing live these days, is there a band around you, or
full
is it
band?
just...
The full. So it's 5-piece, including me. So it's good, man. It's like I love doing that, because it really, I love playing the intimate gigs where it's just me and the piano or me and the guitar. But I think when you do those bigger setups, the bigger songs make the smaller bits feel that much more special when they set.
Oh yeah, more dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have moments where you just give the band a break and just strip it down to you.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so track 10 is Lost on You, and we come back to you and the piano.
Yeah.
And we come back to the pain and the hurt that love can bring.
That's it. We get in Hollywood and we're like, this is great, everything's great, and then we go, oh God, here we go again. Like with this Lost on You. Yeah.
So was there a very conscious? Was it very premeditated? Well, obviously it's premeditated. A track list. Did it take a long time to kind of?
Do you know this
get it into an order?
This track listing, I only really knew the first song and the last song. The first song and the last two songs. That's the only two I knew, and the only two I really cared about in terms of order. And so Grace, I wanted it to open up.
Yeah.
And then these last two, well, after Lost on You, it was just like, I knew how I wanted the album to end. So this Lost on You was just, well, here's the song that doesn't have a place in the album yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah.
It was very like, I didn't really put much thought into it. And I sometimes even forget this song's in the album because it came out such a long time ago as like a single song. But I love it, and I love playing it live. It's always got like an amazing reaction. I love coming out and doing it in front of people. So, but yeah, it was one of those first songs again. I think it was the first song I wrote after Bruises that I was like, okay, now this is really starting to like, I'm really starting to find my feet in this. The piano's a lot more complex because I never played it. But yeah, it was like, this song's more about just that feeling of being like in a relationship and it not, it's you're both sad that it won't work out. But like you want it to work out so well, but it's kind of like that bit where you need to go off and be happy because this is not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it was just about that kind of that feeling in that moment.
A lot of awareness with you for someone that's so young. I feel as though you're very self-aware.
I don't know. I think in terms of who I am, I think I know just because of like just the way I've brought up and stuff. I just kind of know. I know the score with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in terms of the songs, I think the reason I get thing is I never write music whilst I'm experiencing something. So like while that was happening, this bit with the relationship where I was having that time of, you know, you need to just go and be happy. I didn't write the song then because I felt I was too in it. I was too wrapped up in it. So I write all my songs with the benefit of hindsight.
Oh, okay.
So I do so I probably wrote this song like maybe 4 or 5 months after the fact.
Right.
So it's kind of because I just like to be able to look back and be like, okay, because I think you get a very one-sided song otherwise of you being like, and some one-sided songs or something's great of you being like, you did this and you did this and you did this, and I think it's kind of I kind of liked for this album to be like, you know, I did a lot of stuff as well, and this is like it's important to kind of, well, it was important for me on this album at least to kind of really tell the proper kind of story of this relationship that broke down. That kind of because I think that the thing is the relationship that I was in. It wasn't a bad ending by any stretch. Like it was a very amicable ending.
Yeah.
We were both sad about its ending and stuff like that. And both agreed that it was just too much at the time. And yeah, like subsequently, there was obviously you go through a period of like that first 2 months where you're like, this is great, and then you have like 2 months where you're like, oh, this is actually quite miss that person.
Yeah.
And then you have like a month where you hate that person because you're like, oh, she's got a new boyfriend and he's better looking than me and he smells great and he's talented.
Smells great.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I smell like Doritos. It's like but I just wanted to keep that. I just wanted to tell the actual proper story of this is a break. Not all breakups are brutal. Do you know what I mean? This one it wasn't that brutal. I know the song kind of make it sound a lot worse than it was, but for the most part, I got off pretty easy. We're still very good friends, and it's like, do you know? It's like I wanted to kind of put that across in the song. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be like, for her watching at home or listening at home to be like, Jesus, he really does not like me. So I just like I wanted to keep it as amicable as possible.
Very wise. So we are heading into a real strong finish for me. In fact, I think if I'm honest, just on first listen. I need to cuddle the album for longer. But on first listen, I think my favourite tracks are the last 2 tracks.
Oh, nice one. Thanks so much. Yeah.
I absolutely loved Fade and Headspace. But let's talk about Fade. So I thought that there was almost like a Motown vibe to your songwriting in Fade. It sounded like a Motown song that had everything stripped out of it.
Yeah.
Again, with very mature kind of production. But it sounded like, almost like, you know, you'd found an old Motown track and then just kind of done it.
That's class. Yeah. No, I love that. That's brilliant. No, but it was like For that song, I did that song with a producer called Malay, who's did like all Frank Ocean stuff. He's did stuff with John Lennon and Lord and stuff like that. And he was my, when I started working with managers, they were like, if you could work with one producer, who would it be? I said Malay. And we had, thankfully, Bruises kind of took off and did well, and did kind of well as the first single. And then we got to go to New York, and then they were like, well, we'll just send him the song and see if he likes it. Sent him the song, and he was like, let's do a session. And I was like, whoa, this is huge. So I went in, and the song literally, this is the best way to express it, fell out. It was very, very quick and very easy, and it was like, this is brilliant. I'm writing with like someone who I genuinely admire and think everything he's done is incredible. And yeah, it just came really quick. And that was a song as well. Like, in terms of songwriting, but actually how, like, I suppose, the actual, as a songwriter, I'm most proud of that song. Because it's like, I just feel, like, the chorus melody I'm really proud of and stuff like that, and it's just like, as when it comes to purely songwriting, I'm so proud of that too.
That's exactly what I thought. This is my favourite song.
Oh, totally.
It's such a great song.
Nice, no, thank you so much, man. And it's like, I wanted to have all the instrumentation. Like, I wanted that to be the end of the instrumentation of the album. So I always knew that song would be the second last song on the album.
Right.
Because it's like the set. We'd almost do it second last in the set. In fact, we do it second last in the set. So that I was always like, this is like the one before last. It's like, because then it's like really big, and then kind of brings it out. And then with that song's basically just about the bittersweet kind of moment of when you realise you're in love with someone, because you're like, oh no, now I've got all this stuff to lose. Before this, I was like blissfully unaware, and I was cutting about, and I was just by myself, and everything was great. And then you get this feeling of, oh, I love this person, great, and then immediately like, oh no, now I'm going to be really upset if she gets with someone else, or if they don't like me back. Do you know what I mean? It's like a very annoying thing, and now I'm like worried about this person. I'm worried about bad things happening to this person that I never knew 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? It's a very strange thing, and so that's what it's about. And then with Headspace, I just wanted to bring it right back down on that one.
Well, before we get into Headspace, you just said a great Scottism. I was cutting about.
Yeah, cutting about. Yeah,
that's great.
That's it.
Just clarify what cutting about is.
Cutting about is like just existing, I suppose. I'm just cutting about, doing my thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we come to the last track, and you said that you knew that this was going to be the last track, and I get that, because we're stripped down to bare bones again, but in a completely different way. It has a really different vibe, production-wise. This one, you've got this chugging electric guitar, whereas almost everything else is kind of acoustic or piano.
Totally.
And you've got this really nice kind of like
with the tremolo,
almost old rock and roll, with a little bit of trem on it. So it sounded really like an old blues or an old rock and roll kind of guitar thing. And I thought the chord progressions were very, very pleasing.
Oh yeah, the major to the minor on the F.
Yeah,
and stuff.
lovely.
Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I love all that. I went through a phase of just doing all of that. There's one in fade as well, right at the end. It's just, I love them, but I went a bit mad on them for a bit. So that song I wrote when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
It's the only song on the album that there's no other writer on it. That's the only song that I wrote by myself, like solely on this one. But I didn't work with anyone else on it, and it was this thing. If you listen to the demo I made when I was 17. It's almost exactly the same as that, and I wanted to keep it that way. And I think when we do it live, there is this big crescendo in the middle with the band and stuff. And it sounds amazing. And there was an idea of like, do we do that on the album and stuff? But I thought I really wanted to keep it. I feel like I kind of feel like that song's separate from the album in a way. Like the album's done after Fade, and then I think I like this little window of Headspace, of like a window to like me at 17 years old.
Well, it's very interesting that you say that, because the thing that I got from this song more than anything else was hope.
Yeah.
It's so, you've got so much heartache and so much heartbreak in this record, but then the way that you leave someone at the end of a record, I think is very important.
Yeah.
And you've left them with hope.
Yeah.
You've put them through the ringer emotionally.
Yeah,
and then at the end, it's like there's redemption, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like, it's nice to get to the end of the album and kind of think back to like me at 17, sitting on the edge of my bed writing this song and thinking, oh, see if you only knew, like if you only knew what's about to come in the form of these 11 songs that have just preceded this song, your head would be spinning. And I just kind of like that. I like thinking back and being in that very small vulnerable. We did it. This is like a one take thing. There's no like processing and that. It's all just me with a guitar singing this song through once, and it was good, and that's exactly the way I wanted it to end, just with me and the guitar and the voice, and just.
And it just strips down, and everything strips out, and then it's just your voice at the end, which is actually quite an emotional thing to do.
Yeah.
And the very last word is something like, "And she loved me."
Yeah,
she loves me.
Yeah.
She said she loved me.
Yeah. I never thought that a lie could sound so sweet until you opened your mouth and said you loved me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, it's like there's.
No, because it's like the only reason I think it's a lie. So that song I think is quite interesting as well, because it's kind of that kind of sad, hopeful thing where it's like. The song's about me getting into a relationship with this girl that I just couldn't believe liked me. And it's like that song is so insecure, it's mental. But it's like, this girl did like me.
Yeah.
And I knew that, but in my own head I was like, you're lying. I never thought that a lie could sound so sweet until you opened your mouth and said you love me. I'm saying, you said you love me and it sounds amazing, but I know you're lying. But she wasn't. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think
we've all been there.
Yeah, but I think that is what you're saying there about the hope as well. It's like that thing of like, she said she loved me, and it was like a nice thing to hear as a 17-year-old boy. It was just that I didn't expect to hear it from someone as amazing as she was.
Well, what a lovely way to leave everyone at the end of the record.
Really.
And so what next? What's next for you? I guess you just must be so busy promoting this record.
Yeah, totally.
Have you got any kind of idea about what's what I guess your next?
I don't want to do the same thing again. Do you know what I mean? I think I do want to kind of on like, so we do this album and stuff like that, but I'm already writing for the album too. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
I think I would like a lot of more of it to come from me. Like, do you know what I mean? I think all the songs that I love the most on here are songs that I kind of got started. Like, I came with that, with my the vision for the song was like this. So I'd like to kind of put a lot more of my personal time and stuff in it. Of just sitting, finishing full songs and getting in it. Because I think when you're 17, you're not as sure as like, or when I started this, I wasn't as sure as of my song. I'm very glad we did the whole co-writing process and stuff like that. But I think maybe I'll try and just I'll probably just do it the old-fashioned way and just go full me. And also I'd like to just try something different, production-wise, sound-wise, and maybe go somewhere new and still try to keep the core thing there, the voice and songs. Yeah. But and just see what happens, man. I think as well, the trend at the minute is to kind of immediately put out something brand new after put out the album, and then like a few weeks later you got a new song out. And I would kind of like I would like not to do that. Do you know what I mean? I really want there to be like, I want this album to kind of hang about for a bit.
Be a slow burn.
Yeah, and I think if it doesn't do that, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? And I have to kind of come quick with the next one. That's fine. But I'm in no rush. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to take 2 or 3 years. Do you know what I mean? It might just happen. But if it happens when it happens with the album, and the next one and the next music. But yeah, I would really like to just kind of have this. It'd be nice if this hung about for a bit. Well,
there's plenty of depth here. So, fingers crossed, it's going to slow burn for people.
Yeah, man, hopefully. Nice one.
Lewis, I know you've got places to go and people to see. Fantastic to see you, and really congratulations from me and all of us.
Nice one, man. Thank you so much.
Very heartwarming success.
Right, no, thank you for everything, and thank you for taking the time.
Excellent.
The best music all day. Virgin Radio.